Sup, Abba here. This is the second part of the short where I tell you a little of the process of how I model, rig, and paint 3D anime girls in Blender, which can be used for animations or for VRChat avatars. If you're curious to check the finished 3D model for yourself, I've uploaded it to my Sketchfab page. Now I go back to the hair curves, turn them into regular meshes, select some edges, then by pressing V or by selecting Vertex, rip vertices in the Mesh menu, I cut them off to create smaller hair strands. Then I fill the gaps between the new strands with quads. By using sculpting tools, I move the strands around to match the reference image. Now I just go around her outfit using the knife tool to add some topology and change some shapes, like adding folds to the clothes. Now I add the Rigify rig, delete all the face bones, scale the rig to Amelia's size, then in edit mode, I place the bones inside the mesh. I bind all the meshes to the created rig with automatic weights. Then, in weight paint mode, I correct any problems with the way the meshes are deforming. Another simple but time-consuming part of the process is UV unwrapping all the meshes. I just look around the mesh and try to think of parts of the model that are like cylinders, and put the seams on the edges I find would unwrap without deforming too much. Now, in the shader node screen, I add an empty texture to an emission shader node. Then in the texture paint screen in edit mode, I select the faces and add all the base colors with the paint bucket. After all the base colors are applied, I use the brushes to paint in the details. With a color mix node, I add a second completely white texture, and by painting on it with black, I can paint some shadows and line art. The colors and intensity of the shadows can later be adjusted with a few nodes in the shader menu, kinda like Photoshop's layer blending styles. By erasing the alpha channel of the texture with a brush, I can add transparency and detail to her clothes without changing the mesh's structure. I use the Face It add-on for Blender to create a face rig and all the 52 base ARKit shape keys. Then I go and clean each shape key by hand to make sure they work together without clipping and glitching. After the model is complete, I export it as an FBX, import it to Unity, and configure the physics, emotes, shaders, and toggles of the avatar. Then I go in-game and test to see if everything is working. And that's basically most of it. Thanks for watching the entire thing.